Hello guys, my name is N and I welcome you all to K&N's 2 cents. So quickly in this video I want to share my thoughts on the judgment delivered by the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal in Nigeria on Wednesday, that's the 6th of September. I'm sure a lot of us have different reactions towards the judgment. Some people are happy while some others are not. And before I continue, I wish to quickly state here that except you're a politician, all right, except you probably share in the spoils of these political parties, please don't carry their matter on your head. I know a lot of people that have become eternal enemies simply because they supported different presidential candidates, all right. But the truth is, you see, these politicians end up dining together, provided their interests align, while you that have carried the matter on your head, have ended up losing a very valuable friendship. So please let us be very careful. For those of you who do not know, if you go to watch our previous videos, my brother K and I never supported the same presidential candidate. But the truth is, that was where it ended. Never affected our friendship, our relationship, because that's all that matters. All right. So I needed to just chip that in here, for those who are making that very serious mistake. So let me come back to my thoughts on this judgment. The truth is, the judgment didn't come to me as a surprise. Yeah, I know a lot of people were expecting, something else. Some people were expecting that the president, will be removed from the office. So people were expecting that the election results was going to be upturned. I wasn't expecting that. Even though I followed the proceedings, I followed the whole judgment, right? Because there was something else I was expecting that I didn't see. But before I mention that, let me state here that most of the petitions, from Labour Party or People's Democratic Party, these petitions have earlier been decided on in previous judgments, by the court. Matters on maybe double nomination, matters on the status of Federal Capital Territory, and so on and so forth. I wasn't expecting the justices of the tribunal to say otherwise, because some of these judgments have been given in the past. And one thing I know courts for is they hardly give a judgment different from what they had given before. Okay, because that might make them come across as unserious, or that might make them come across as not authentic. So that was why the judgment didn't come to me as a surprise. I knew most of those petitions were going to be struck off. And of course, they were struck off. But my major concern is on the judgment or the decision of the court on the conduct of INEC. So that is where my concern really lies. Okay, why do I say that? I was a bit disappointed. No, not a bit disappointed. I think I was hugely disappointed when the justices made us to understand that INEC is not bound to transmit election results electronically. When I heard that, I felt very disappointed, because what that means is that the court endorsed the conduct of INEC in that election, when it was obvious that that election was marred by a lot of irregularities, when it was obvious that INEC could not transmit that election result electronically. Now, the least I expected from the justices was at least to chastise INEC, to condemn INEC, okay, instead of endorsing, because by endorsing because by making that statement, you have ratified, you have endorsed the conduct. What it means is that INEC will now be able to do whatever they want to do. What it means is that all of the effort that was put into making the Electoral Act of 2022 where it was decided that election results should be transmitted electronically. What it means is that all of the effort that was put in making those laws have now been rubbished. Because if you say that INEC is not bound to transmit, then why was so much money invested in INEC to ensure that the electoral laws are followed, to ensure that the election results are transmitted electronically? So that is where I am so concerned about, because I feel the court or the justices just made a mess of our democracy. I was expecting justices that should have addressed INEC very well, should have addressed INEC, in a way that people will understand that the judiciary is interested in strengthening our democracy. But by saying that, they are not bound to do that, you have just taken us back to days of electoral malpractices and manipulations. Okay, so that is where my concern hugely, lies. Some people argue that, okay, why didn't the petitioners prove that the elections were not properly conducted, or why didn't the petitioners give enough proof or prove beyond reasonable doubt that the elections were marred by irregularities? And the answer I give to these people is it's going to be very difficult. Let us not forget that INEC is a defendant in this case. And, as lawyers, you can't present foreign materials as evidence. You can't present any evidence that did not emanate from the body that conducted the election as evidence. So what it means is that if INEC is a defendant in the case, it will be difficult for them to release materials that will make them not win. I don't know if anybody's getting what I mean. It will be difficult because we know how much difficult it was for these lawyers to even get certified true copies from INEC. And the reason is very simple. If INEC is a defendant in the case, they will obviously do everything within their powers to stifle your efforts to prove that the elections were conducted improperly. So what I think we should do going forward is to focus more on INEC. Okay, I think what this judgment should really have been, I am not a lawyer, but I think this is what I'm just thinking. I feel what this judgment should have been is to compel INEC to prove to us that the elections were conducted properly. Because the election results were not transmitted electronically, and INEC has not given us any cogent reason why that didn't happen. And we just folded our arms and accepted their result. So I think going forward, what we should have focused more on is making INEC to prove to us that the elections were conducted properly, instead of making the petitioners to prove that the elections were not conducted properly, because it will be difficult for the petitioners. But if INEC is made to prove to us, so what it means is that if they are not able to prove to us that these elections were conducted, according to the guidelines of the Electoral Act, then the simple thing should be done, and which is to cancel the election. So that is what I mean. That's been my thought on this whole process. All right? INEC should be the focal point, and not the petitioners, wasting their time, resources, and energy trying to get materials from INEC, and INEC is not releasing them. And then lastly, still a focus on INEC. I think it's high time. I don't know how we can do it. I don't know those who are, saddled with responsibility of amending constitution. We need to remove INEC from the presidency. INEC really needs to be truly independent. You can't have an individual or a president who is interested in an election be the one appointing the chairman of INEC. I mean, you don't need an expert to say that there will be some compromise. So these are my thoughts. I think it's time we really looked into the composition of INEC. We need to also look at the things that INEC should be doing. I think there's so much given to INEC to handle. So there are a whole lot of things. I think INEC should be unbundled, starting with the chairman. The chairmanship should be removed. Shouldn't be the responsibility of the presidency. It should be removed from there so that they will be truly independent. So these are my thoughts, guys. I don't know what you think. Go to the comment section and leave your own opinion. Are you in agreement with the judgment, or are there things that you think that should have been done better? Leave your comment in the section below, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, kindly do that now, and don't forget to click the like button, click on the notification bell so that the next time we post a video here, you'll be the first to see it. See you in the next video.